Hi.
It's finally good. It's good to finally be able to connect.
Yeah, we got connected.
Yeah.
So, firstly, I want to thank you for accepting my invitation and accepting to talk with me.
And thank you for sending it out. I'm very excited to be here.
So, I thought to introduce you to my audience.
Okay. My name's A.K.Wilson, and I'm a multi-genre writer. I have just recently published Vikings Journey Begins with a Boat, and I'm currently working on two other projects.
Okay. So, you're from?
I'm from Kentucky in the United States.
Okay. So, recently
Yeah.
the elections, and I think
That's
everything is
been pretty
complicated.
crazy, huh?
So, we'll talk about your first book. Is this your first book?
Yeah. My first book's A Viking's Journey Begins with a Boat. It's about a mom who's passing down a toy Viking boat to her daughter and the journey that the Viking boat had actually brought the entire family.
Okay. So, you said
Yeah.
you are a multi-genre author.
Yeah. I'm a multi-genre. I write, this one was an adventure story. And my other two projects I'm working on, one's a horror story. And one is a historical fantasy.
Historical fantasy. Wow.
Yeah,
Sounds
yeah, it's
good.
a wide range of different writing.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
what is the next what are the next books that are coming and what is it about?
The next book that should be coming out is called Man with Many Masks. It's about a serial killer who you read in his perspective, who is on trial for
Okay.
kidnapping the world's most renowned lawyer. And he has her kind of in this like torture playground, but she escapes.
Okay.
And you kind of get to see both sides where
Okay.
he kind of explains his innocence and you get to try to figure out, is he going to be able to walk free or is he going to be, put in for life or at one point, the idea of the best death penalty is up. So it
Okay.
definitely keeps you on your toes.
So, writing is your profession or you just write
Yeah, yeah. I do write. I'm trying to do writing full time. I do food delivery, to be able to keep, the bills paid and everything. But I'm definitely working towards a full time writing career.
okay. So when you
Yeah.
started writing,
I started writing at a really young age. I actually started about like as soon as I could start writing words, I started making stories.
okay. So you write only fantasy or the real stories too?
Um, Most of it is fantasy, but for me, I believe that all writing has a little bit of truth to it. So mostly fantasy, but hints of reality here and there. That's no problem at all. Yeah, I write mostly fantasy. Um, every once in a while, I'll put a little bit of reality touches to it, but for the most part, it's fantasy.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what motivates you? What drives you to write every day?
Motivates me to write. I would say just day to day stuff for me. I find that writing helps you with yourself. I think that a lot of it is trying to reach out to people and also letting out things that, sometimes you keep bottled up and everything. So,
So as a
yeah.
human being, what you have learned with writing?
What have I learned? I've learned that I'm not alone in a lot of situations that I've been in. A lot of times, I thought that I was the only one that would feel this way or react to a certain situation this way. And it's been amazing the support I've gotten and the amount of people who can relate to my writing because it made me realize that I'm not alone in situations.
So will you put the real characters in your book?
I'm sorry, can you repeat it?
Okay, will you put the real characters in your book?
Um, not with my book and stuff. All characters are fictional. But yeah, it is a great story. It's a family story.
Okay, so what is the response that you got for the book that you released?
um, what kind of response would I like
Yeah,
for for the one that I released or the one that's coming out?
that the one that you released already.
The one I released.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that I'm hoping that the readers will feel like a sense of connection to the story. Like I want people to feel like, hey, look, I remember somebody in my family who had passed down something really important to them and to be able to have like bring back those happy memories.
Okay, you said it is a journey. The book name is.
Yeah, a Viking's journey begins with a boat.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and the whole story begins with a tiny little toy Viking boat. And you'd never guess it, but it brings a lot of good surprises.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Sounds interesting.
Thank you so much.
So,
Definitely.
okay. So, are you good in explaining?
Huh?
Are you good in explaining things?
I hope so. Sometimes. Sometimes I am, sometimes not so much, but I try to make it through.
So, what set of people will connect with the book?
I'm hoping that, honestly, with the book that's come out, I think that I'm hoping that all readers could connect in some way. Whether it's young adults, kids, adults, I think that for everybody, there's a little bit of something to it.
So, in
So.
whom's perspective the book will be?
I'm sorry, what?
In whom's perspective the book will be? The
Oh,
narration.
the book that came out, it's actually in the mom's perspective. And it's the first of a trilogy. So the second book's gonna be from the daughter's perspective as
Okay.
as she continues the journey.
Okay. So, what is your inspiration for these first and second books?
Okay, the inspiration. Honestly, I had a friend who had told me a really interesting story about the fact that his grandmother had passed something down to him, and I just honestly, I was like, that's really cool, and just the emotion that he had behind it really moved me, and I was like, this is so cool. And ironically, I'm a huge fan of the show Vikings. And so I was kind of watching it at the time and I was like, oh my God, this is so awesome. Like, what if I could put the two together? So I kind of just mixed it up a little bit.
Okay. So, other than writing, what you'll do?
Other than writing, well, writing's my biggest passion, but I'm actually a mom of three kids. I have a 6-year old, a 4-year old, and a 3-year-old. So whenever I'm not writing, I'm generally running around with them.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
as a mom, you are taking the responsibility and at the same time writing, and it is your profession, and it's very tough for you to create impact on the readers.
Oh yeah, like I love it, and you know what? Like I dedicate each book, whether it's all my books are definitely dedicated to my kids because I want to show them like growing up. I want to show them, hey, look, this is what your mom's accomplished. This is my dream, got it done, and now what are you gonna do with your dreams? It's good to set an inspiration.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, thank you.
So, so yeah, you said about writing and about your books.
Yeah,
So where you'll sit and write.
yeah. Definitely. I'm hoping to write as many books as I possibly can. I have the Viking book should be a trilogy. The Man with Many Masks should definitely be a series of books. especially since the ending ends on a cliffhanger. So it's definitely going to make a reader want to read more. And my historical fantasy, it's got plenty of books. Like, so between the three projects, I could definitely be writing by the time.
Yeah, my question is where you will sit, the place where you sit and write regularly.
Oh, where do I go and sit and write?
Yeah.
Honestly, like, it all depends. I could be like in a grocery store and I'll pull the app up on my phone and I'll start writing. Sometimes it'll be, like as soon as my kids go to sleep, I'll put them down and like I'll go onto my couch and I'll do my writing. It all depends on like where and when I can get the chance to write, and I will definitely be doing it. But I do, believe it or not, I actually do all my writing on my cell phone.
Okay,
Yeah.
how much time you spend to for writing in a day?
For writing, I try to fit at least 3 to 5 hours a day.
3 to 5 hours a day. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it,
So,
it gets interesting with kids, but the good news is since my kids are little right now, I can get them to sleep pretty early. I get them to sleep about 8 o'clock, so it gives me plenty of time to stay up to do some writing.
are you good in writing about romance?
I've tried a couple of romance stories. I can get pretty descriptive in a couple of places, but general storyline is kind of where it gets me. It gets a little bumpy.
So,
But
about violence, can you write about crime?
yeah, like especially like with the serial killer story I'm writing, it's a lot of fun because it gets pretty graphic and it gets pretty violent. But I can do other like crime stuff too. Like I've done stories where like there's like gang violence and stuff like that too. So I try to kind of mix it. I try to mix up my writing whenever I can.
Okay, what kind of books you read personally?
What kind of books do I read? I am a huge fan of Dean Koontz. He's one of definitely my biggest inspirations because he switches up his variety of writing styles. So to me, like, it's really cool that, like, one time it could be all from one character's perspective, and then another book, it's from like three different characters' perspectives. It mixes itself up. I also, I read, some romance. I read some, teen fiction. I definitely mix it up. As
Okay,
long as it's got a good story.
okay. So you're multi-genres. You write about all the genres. So what is your favorite genre?
My favorite genre is definitely got to be horror. I'm a huge horror fan, and it seems to be the one that generally catches most people's attention. So, yeah, that's definitely my favorite genre.
Are you good in creating impact with this genre?
Yeah, I think so.
So I'm sure to create fear, you should understand fear.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Like I like getting scared all the time. Like for me, if you're reading a horror book and you're not scared, there's something wrong.
Okay. So
Yeah, definitely gotta get those chills up your back.
okay. So love. Are you good in expressing love through your book?
I think so. Yeah, yeah. Like some my books, it all depends on I guess the characters. Like with my horror book, there is a sense of love. It's just not quite the traditional sense. Because of course he's a serial killer, so I'm guessing you can kind of understand it's not quite the normal romance. But in my historical fantasy and stuff, um there's a lot of like natural relationships where it's a lot more healthy and a lot more romantic. So yeah,
So you read multiple genres and you read a lot of books, right? Uh,
yeah.
so as So what is the thing that you believe that you have in you and the authors don't have?
Something that I think that I have that other authors don't, I
Don't
would
have, yeah, yeah,
say, is the ability to switch different genres. I know that a lot of times, authors tend to get stuck in, they're going to be a one genre
yeah,
author, and
yeah,
you know them for like
yeah,
their
yeah,
or you know them for their romance.
yeah,
For me, I want to be a wide range, so that way, people can say, hey, look, she does really good at this, but I've also read her other stuff, and they were really good too.
yeah.
So I think being able to switch the genres is definitely a good skill that is different than most people.
Yeah, I really like this because you can just switch off and switch on to whenever you wanted. You just can change. Most of the authors cannot do this.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I come under in the same category. I did videos with psychologists, football player, uh,
Yeah,
a a
I
a
noticed. Like
mu-
I was watching your videos and stuff, and I was like really impressed because like some of them are authors and some of them are directors, some of them are
yeah,
podcast people. I'm like, man, he gets like the best job because you really get a wide variety of different guests and stuff.
yeah.
And I'm so glad to be one of them, by the way.
Yeah, we are on the same line. I mean, you are on the same line. You are doing the same. You're connecting with different thinking people. One certain people like horror, certain people like love, some people like romance, and some people like crying. You
Yeah,
are connecting with everybody. And
exactly.
it is not not everybody have this kind of switching completely and telling about going into that particular mood and that particular explaining about that particular imagination. It's a lot of people fix for one particular genre, but you are going to reach more people in coming days, I think.
Yeah, I hope so. Definitely, I'm crossing my fingers. And I think that one of the best things, too, and I'm sure you can probably relate, is that everybody's different. So, like,
Yeah,
you could do, like, with your story and stuff, depending on the reader, all of them take it in differently.
yeah.
So, and I'm sure, like, with you, like, you talk to different authors, but, like, all their stories are different. So it's really interesting being able to see that, too.
Yeah, I'll call you as universal connector.
Huh?
I'll call you as universal connector.
Yeah, exactly.
So you connect with different people with different stories. So I'm sure you're going to connect with a lot of country and a lot of religion people with your expressions called books.
Yeah, and I'm really hoping so, and I'm really hoping that um, I'm hoping that it touches everybody in their own ways. I think that that's what's like the most important. As long as my book, it can have good feedback, it can have negative feedback, but as long as there's an opinion, it means that it touched somebody somehow.
So nice. You have a good smile.
Thank you. You do too.
So at last, do you have anything to the world about your books?
About my books. Yeah, it's definitely, if you think that you've got it all figured out, there's a good chance that there's going to be something that turns the whole story around. So, I try to keep it mixed up and just, keep it unexpected and keep it fun.
Do your books? I mean, in Amazon, do your
Yeah,
books are there?
yeah. My first book is sold on paperback for Amazon, and I'm going to be getting the Kindle version up very soon.
So I'll put the book link in the description of this video. People who watches this video can find your book and can buy it.
Yeah, yeah, they can find it by the name. If you look up a Vikings journey, it should pop up right away. And I'm hoping that maybe, possibly, I haven't tried it yet, but I'm hoping if you look up A.K.Wilson, it should pop up.
Yeah, definitely. I'll put the link in the description of this video on YouTube.
Yeah,
they
that
will
would
get
be
the direct link.
wonderful. That would be a huge help. That
So
would be great.
at last, do you have anything to say about my video series?
I think that your video series is awesome. It's been amazing being able to see all the different writers and their different personalities. And honestly, even the podcast people, I saw the one you did yesterday with the person in Indiana. I was like, man, that person's like right across the bridge from me. So, it's really cool. And I love what you're doing. I think that you do a great job interviewing people, and I think you should keep it up.
Thank you so much. Tomorrow, I'm going to release a video interview which I did with a gangster,
Okay.
a real
Yeah.
gangster. You know. So yesterday I did. After that video, I'll release this video.
Okay. That would be awesome. I can't wait. That has been a lot of fun.
So keep going, keep writing, and keep doing something that you love and be happy in your life.
Thank you so much. As long as I'm writing, I'm definitely happy.
Yeah. And I'll be expecting more different books from you, and
Oh yeah, I
I'll
will
be,
definitely keep you updated on it.
yeah. We'll do
And
another
as soon
video
as
in
I get
future.
as soon as I start working on that romance novel, I'll let you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, you should do that because I can see that in your eyes and your smile.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you got it right. I think you're right. I think we got a plan here.
Yeah. So we'll meet soon again when after your next book release, and we'll talk again.
Yeah, I think that would be wonderful. And it was really great to get to know you. And, if you want to hit my Twitter up, go for it. I talk to
Yeah.
everybody, so
Yeah. Can I put this video on my YouTube channel on social network
absolutely.
on
Yes.
internet with your permission?
Yeah, I think that would be great. And I'll probably be putting it as my pinned tweet on my Twitter as well. So if that's cool with you, of course.
Yeah. Thank you so much for giving your valuable time and telling about your books and about yourself.
Thank you so much for having me. And I hope you have a wonderful day.
Yeah. You too.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.